Hello everyone. Welcome to Dr. Markan Sekya's talk on foreign affairs. Today we'll be discussing a very urgent issue. I should not say urgent issue. It's a kind of an menace that humanity has been facing for a long time. And it is on the rise. What is it? It is the garbage or rubbish issue that all over the world that we all are encountering. It is going to be a complete chaos for everyone and anyone on this earth. It is not going to spare anybody. Every corner of the world, every part of the world is now facing a garbage problem. While dealing with this issue or menace, I'll be following this content. First of all, I'll be talking about origin of the words garbage and rubbish, history of garbage or rubbish, biggest garbage producers, how long it takes to rot, where does the garbage flow, Mount Everest full of garbage, and ways to reduce garbage. Now, friends, if we look at these two words, you know, garbage and rubbish, whether these two words are same or not, let's have a look at that. And also, let's have a look at the origin of these two words. The word garbage is originated from the Anglo-Norman and Old French, but the word has a German origin. It was originally used to refer to offal, that is, internal organs of an animal used as food, that is of a fowl, giblets and kitchen waste. By late 16th century, it was used to mean waste parts of an animal, such as internal organs, head, and feet, which were normally not eaten. Finally, it was used as a generic term for junk. Now, coming to the word rubbish, if we see, this word was taken from Middle English word robos, meaning building rubble. It may be derived from Anglo-Norman words robos, robuas, or robos, meaning waste material, refuse, building rubble, etc. Does. Both these words, I mean garbage and rubbish, refer to unwanted or waste material. Now, I'll be taking you through a journey, and at first in that, we'll be discussing about the brief history of rubbish. In ancient times, nomadic people simply left their rubbish and moved on. They have nothing to care, because the world was just free and you have enough space all across. Once people settled in villages, they were faced with the problem of having to dispose of garbage where they lived. Often, they just covered it with earth. This caused the ground level in ancient cities such as Troy to increase by over 1 meter a century. Imagine. So people started covering the garbage by soil or earth, and this has led to the increase of the ground level by 1 meter a century. The first anti-dumping law was issued in Athens, Greece in 320 BC, when citizens were compelled to bury their garbage or put it in pits outside the city. Imagine their foresightedness. Way back in 320 BC, these people in Athens they brought the first law against anti-dumping. The Middle Ages, what has happened? In medieval ages, cities in those days, people often threw their smelly garbage into the street. causing the spread of rats, mice, and disease. Free roaming pigs ate some of it, except in Paris, where they were banned after 1131, after King Louis XVI's son Anjou was killed when his horse tripped over a wandering pig. In London, kites and ravens scavenged among the garbage tips. The birds were so important that killing one was punishable by death. Now from then, moving on to the 19th century, what we have seen. Rag and bone men were common sight in 19th century streets. They went from house to house with a horse and a cart, gathering anything that could be resold. Dustmen collected cinders from home fires to be used in brick making. Human waste and horse manure were taken to farms for fertilizer, and dog droppings were used in the leather tanning trade. The first garbage burning incinerator called the Structure was built in Nottingham in 1874. The first dustbin appeared in Paris, France in 1883. It was introduced by Eugen Puebel, the prefect of police. To this day, the French call a dustbin a pueblo, just after his name. So imagine, that means what kind of dustbin that we are using today, right? It all, appeared from or started from modern France, right? So by 20th century, thousands of new disposable goods were invented, and fewer people had open fires, so more garbage was thrown away. Disused electronic equipment, including TV sets, computers, mobile phones, and fax machines, began to join the world's growing rubbish dumps. Coming to 21st century, what we have seen and witnessed is that it is a burgeoning problem for all of us to handle. Trillions of tons of plastics are all being dumped across the world. Why I am saying plastic? Because it is going to be the biggest menace for humanity. As globalization has expanded, economic activities, right, through advanced use of science and technology, and population has grown multifold, we are going to face the problem in a multi-layered manner in this 21st century. Now, let's have a look at the countries that produces, largest garbage. First is Ireland. Household waste per person per year, if we look at it, is Ireland 760 kg, US 740 kg, Iceland 730 kg, Norway 700 kg, Australia 690 kg, Denmark 670 kg, Switzerland 660 kg, Germany, Luxembourg and Spain 650 kg, UK 610 kg, the Netherlands 600 kg. This is what is, household waste per person per year, right? How much garbage is that? Have a look. Every person in the UK produces approximately half a ton of household garbage every year, which means that the UK as a whole produces 30 million tons. That's enough to fill dustbins stretching from the earth to the moon. But that's not all. Household garbage makes up only 7% of the yearly total. The rest comes from mining and quarrying, 114 million tons and more. Agriculture, 86 million. Demolition and construction, brick, soil, etc., 80 million. Industrial waste, 55 million. Dredged spoils from rivers and harbors, 34 million. Commercial waste, 25 million. And sewage, 4 million. So, friends, now let's have a look how long it takes to rot all these garbage. Cotton rags, it takes 1 to 5 months. Paper, it takes 2 to 5 months. Orange peel, up to 6 months. Wool socks, it takes 1 to 5 years. Cigarette ends, it takes 1 to 12 years. Plastic coated drink cartons, it takes 5 years. Plastic bags, 10 to 20 years. Photo film, it takes 20 to 30 years. Leather shoes, 25 to 50 years. Artificial fiber clothes like nylon, 30 to 40 years. Tin cans, it takes 50 to 100 years. So imagine what can happen if we throw all these items in public or into a dumping ground. Now, where does all it go? It goes to landfills. Most wastes end up underground in giant municipal pits or landfill sites where it can rot out of sight. These are usually lined to prevent dangerous chemicals seeping into the ground. However, many discarded objects take decades, even centuries to break down, and we are running out of suitable places to bury these garbage. Incineration. Burning garbage is another solution. Burning gets rid of most kinds of waste, and the heat can be converted into energy for other uses. The problem is that incineration releases harmful gases, some of which may contribute to global warming. Recycling. Recycling uses old waste to make new products. It cuts down the amount of garbage and saves natural resources by reducing the need for new raw materials. Items most suitable for recycling are organic matter, plant and animal, which can be composted and used as fertilizer, metals such as aluminum and cans, glass and paper. Reduce and reuse. The most sustainable solution is to reduce the amount of waste we create that we can easily do. We need to control our greed, right? Compared with 50 years ago, food cans are 50% lighter. Yogurt pots are 60% lighter. Glass bottles are 50% lighter. And plastic carrier bags are half as thick. Shoppers can help by choosing not to buy goods with lots of packaging or disposable containers, as these make up 10 to 20% of all domestic garbage across the world. Now, friends, there is an unbelievable story. That's not a story, reality. That's happening in Mount Everest. It has already been reported across the world. More than 1,000 people have climbed Mount Everest, the world's highest peak, since it was conquered in 1953 for the first time. They and their support teams have dropped more than 50 tons of garbage, making the Everest the world's highest garbage dump. In 2001, Nepalese Sherpas, local guides, collected more than 6 tons of paper bags, tents, ropes, clothes, aluminum ladders, batteries, oxygen bottles, and plastic cans. Nepal now charges climbers 3,000 pound deposit, which is returned only if they remove all their garbage. It's a good step and a very preventive steps from the Nepal government side, but we all must be environment conscious. We must see to it that while climbing and making our own records and histories, right, we should not spoil the beauty and the environment of the great Everest. Now, friends, finally, how to reduce this wastage? First, what we can do is that we can use a shopping bag and reuse unnecessary carrier bags. We can buy refills. Third, buy fruits and vegetables loose, not pre-packed. But when you go to a multi-store or to a mall, it has already been packed, right? Buy recycled goods. That is a very conscious move. Buy reusable nappies. Buy soft drinks in large bottles and pour it into smaller bottles for daily use. Reuse wrapping paper, packing materials, and envelopes. Pack your lunch in a reusable box rather than foil or cling film, because then every day you are changing it, right? For every meal you are doing it. Choose durable products over disposable ones, that is rechargeable batteries. But today we are, becoming very cost effective people, so we don't do it, right? Donate unwanted clothes to charity shops or jumble sales. Many of us we do, but most of our people do not do. Please make it a habit, right? Donate unwanted furniture to a furniture recycling project. Buy drinks in glass bottles. They can be reused 20 times. If it's broken, mend it. Don't throw it away. Return clothes hangers to dry cleaners. Take glass, cans, paper, and cardboard to recycling banks. Compost leftover food, garden waste, paper in small amounts, and vacuum cleaner dust. So friends, these are some of the very important steps that we can take to reduce our waste material in everyday life. But how many of us we are doing it? My only appeal to you is that garbage is not a problem for you or me, or for a developing country or a developed world. We cannot point fingers at anybody at this moment. We, I mean humanity, is at risk at this moment. We cannot say no. We have to say yes, and we have to control our greed. Garbage dumps are rising because of our greed. We buy even if we do not need something. We have to control our desires. We have to control our greed. So friends, let's promise and come together and say no to more garbage. Thank you so much for watching me. I'll be bringing you much more interesting topics in my coming videos. Again, thank you so much and bye-bye.